Okay, guys. This is not like radio where it'd be like, it's Crispin and Rebecca. It's not. It's Tiny and Rebecca. And we have no idea why we are here. Okay?
Well, we do.
So let me just roll it back a little bit. Because me and Tiny have been friends since school.
Yeah.
And that was like, what, back in, I don't know,
2012? Was that 2012?
Something like, I don't know. It was a while ago.
It was a while.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I'm 31. How old are you, Tiny?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, get it out there.
Well, I'm 32. Gonna be 33 in...
Oh, you're just 1 year older than me. It's not bad.
Okay, fine.
I
I'm
think
32.
you're like 39. But, right. So basically, we were friends back in uni. We reconnected, became best of friends in the last couple of years. Tiny's here in Barbados with me right now. And I was like, Tiny, I feel like we should do a podcast because we always have these really deep talks that are really like to the heart and help each other all the time. Like Tiny's that person, he will wake up at 4 a.m. and talk to me if I need him. And like, I was like listening to him give my friend advice the other day and I was like, you know, like I feel like someone would appreciate this outside of just us. You know, so that's kind of where it came up with. I was like, Tiny, I think we should start a podcast. And he looked at me like I was a mad woman.
Because you are.
Listen. He was like, a podcast? But then I got him in his heartstrings because I was like, listen, let me tell you what I want to call it. Because I've been thinking about this for so long. I wanted to do a podcast. You guys know I work on radio. But like, I don't know. I just feel like we have these really deep conversations and people could probably benefit from them. Maybe they can even help us a little bit. What do you think?
True.
So this podcast is going to be called, do you want to tell them?
No, I think you want to tell them.
Tell them.
Well, the podcast is going to be called Hold My Plate. We're calling it Hold My Plate because that's something that Rebecca and I have kind of been practicing for an extended period of time when life gets a little bit overwhelming or things kind of feel like they're on top of you or anything like that, you know. We just kind of call each other and out of the blue just be like, can I hold your plate?
Yeah.
Do you want me to hold your plate for a minute? It's just like, yes, please, you know. And we just have a very safe space, and we just kind of create an environment where, you know, you could just talk. You know. I
feel like I could tell you, you're the only, sorry to my other friends, but you're the only friend that I can tell. You know, you have different friends, right? That you can. I can tell them this part of my life. There's this friend, Chris, that I have to leave my love life out of because he's very like, you know, regimented.
We
but
love
like,
you, Chris.
We love you. But I'm just saying, like, you know, you have different friends for different things. You know, like different people for different seasons. And I feel like with me and you, like, we just have this thing where we tell each other what it is. And even if I'm ashamed or I'm embarrassed or I just know it's a bad decision or stupid, I tell you anyway because I feel like you're the one person I could tell the truth to, you know? Yeah. And you don't make me feel bad about it. You tell me the truth, and then you're like, okay, but I'm still your friend, and I got your back, you know? So, yeah, there's that. So I think it kind of came out of something before where I was, like, freaking out, and I didn't know, like, where I was in life. I was feeling confused. I was overwhelmed. You know, my dad just went away, left me in charge of the company, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this. Like, it's only me. Like, what am I gonna do? And Tiny's like, I was like, I don't even know how to explain to you how I feel. And he was like, no, you just want someone to say, hold my plate, just for a second, and then I'll just walk away, do what I have to do, and then come back in a week's time and take back my plate. And that's kind of how it started, right?
Absolutely.
But it really meant something to me because I was like, damn, that's exactly how I feel. You know? So there's that. So that's kind of just like an intro for you guys to get to know us a little bit. And I've forced Tiny into doing this, so.
Yes, she has. I am mayor against my will.
Yeah, you look like it. And we're coming to you with the most basic clothing, old makeup, armhole shirt, because we literally, this is the last night in Barbados, And I was like, Tidy, we might as well do this. We had no plans. We were like, what are we doing the last night in Barbados? We make a podcast. Yeah.
It's what people do.
So what else would you do? Right?
Apart from being fast asleep right now, but yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean, who's going to sleep on the last night in Barbados, right?
Well, it's raining.
It is raining. Outside, so. I know. So, yeah, I don't know. That's the intro. Like us or leave us. Any final words?
No, I think you summed it up quite well.
Are you scared?
A little bit anxious, actually. It's always terrifying stepping into something new. There's always some emotional, mental sort of hurdles that you have to kind of overcome. But I think it might be a good thing for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, to kind of just allow other people to kind of see how we are going through life.
Yeah.
And what the problems we're facing, the solutions we're coming up with, and and just to see that they have issues, we have issues, and we're still working on it.
Yeah.
We're absolutely still working on it.
I think some people probably know us and probably think, yeah, man, they got it all figured out. We don't have it figured out.
No.
Not even in the slightest.
No.
But we have each other.
Yeah, and it's really funny with it because it's like you get into your 30s, or when you're younger, you think, oh, by the time I'm in my 30s, life will be a certain way, or you hope your life will be a certain way, and then you get into your 30s and you're like, I thought my life would be better than this or different,
and then you go into like a crisis, right?
Exactly. You're like, what's going on? You look left, you look right, and you feel like you're the only one sometimes.
Oh, that's wow.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
It is like that. That's like how I always ask people, like, do you have a voice in your head too? Like, it's my thoughts, right? And I'm in this little brain of mine, like, thinking while you're talking, and I'm like, I'm just in here alone, trying to figure this life out. And it's weird because it's scary. Like, you look at other, you can't help sometimes but look at other people and see where they're at. And I know people say, don't look at other people, don't compare. But like sometimes you can't help it. It's like natural. I see my friends that I went to school with getting married, having babies, doing all the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm 31.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure out my love life.
Yeah.
I do want kids, but it doesn't happen in that sequence. Like, so it's like I thought I had this done and dusted.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah.
So
for anyone listening, Rebecca thought she would be married with 6 kids right now, and running around the place expecting a 7th one.
That's a bit much. 1, 2, we're good. But it's weird, and then like it's just like you can't do anything about it. What am I supposed to do? I don't know where the love of my life is. Do you?
Well, I think I don't, but then I think also with guys, it's like we don't. We don't feel that pressure as much, but I think at least professionally, it's like you hope. I think we feel that pressure professionally, whereas you guys feel it in a very different way. We feel it like, okay, we want to be hitting these benchmarks, and in order for us to feel like we're moving in the right direction career-wise, or with regards to some of the goals and aspirations that we have for ourselves. So I think we do feel that, but I feel like a little bit differently. So
yeah, I think for females, we're more like the biological clock is ticking, and if you're thinking about kids, you have like a sequence, right? Well, at least that's what my parents taught me. There's a way to do this, right? Date someone, you get engaged, you get married, you have a kid. That's the quote unquote right way, right?
The way things
should be. Yeah. But I mean, now we're living in more modern times. People do things different, and they don't do them in that sequence anymore. I mean, your choice, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy and you get to that place. I feel like it doesn't matter how you got there. Once you're not hurting people in the process. And I don't know, like we have a biological clock. Like, I'm 31 and I'm here thinking about freezing my eggs, like. And I used to make it like a joke, and they'd be like, ha ha ha. And then the other day I sat with my dad and I was like, Dad, I always make that joke about freezing my egg. Like, I really want to. I was like, look, right now, I just came out of a relationship. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm, building towards something. There might be something. I don't know. So it's like, at least if I freeze my eggs, I have that option. And because a lot of people don't know that, like, your eggs, like, degrade the older you get. You think, oh, you're 31, you're young, it's fine. But, like, talk to your gyno. Like, she'll tell you, yeah, they're not as good quality or whatever. And I'm not the expert, so you can go check for yourself. But I'm just telling you what I learned. And, like, I know I want kids, so I need to make provisions for such. But you can't, like, what am I going to do if I find... Like, I don't know. Like, I can't have them by myself.
There are options today, so
yeah. I mean, yeah, but
it's entirely up to you what you want to do, and
So you have a professional clock, and I have a biological clock.
And I think, because I think for men, we, because I can't speak for all men. For some men, let me say. To be more exact, we feel like at this age you want to have achieved X, Y, and Z in your career. Like, for example, let's say, like, if we use like 5-year increments, I think that's very easy to understand. So, you finish school in your early 20s, 21, 22, 23, whatever.
Yeah.
So by 25, people expect you to be in a career, at least, or maybe settled in some form of a career.
Yeah.
By 30, you would have had at least between 5 to 7 years in that career or something like that. You hope. And then, so that by the time you get into your 30s, you're at quite a senior level within that career or that particular company or whatever. So, like, at that point in time, maybe you're, assistant director or some sort of, junior VP or something like that. That kind of gives you that sort of grounding, that feeling of achievement, that sense of worth. Because a lot of guys do, unfortunately, tie our worth to our professional life and our career, and so the progression of that, or the lack of progression of that, can make certain guys feel a certain type of way. So, and then also by the time you're 35, I think, most people will say by the time you're 35, you're grown up now, you should have, as a guy, you should have your life figured out to a certain extent.
Right.
But what you're seeing nowadays in some cases for some guys is that's not always the case, or something's happened along the way, and that's completely not their fault or whatever, that has kind of derailed that or affected that. So so there's all these different aspects and nuances that can sort of really can sort of really affect that path. So and then also, let's say if we get into your 40s, I mean, by this age, people think,
how terrifying.
Yeah, you're like, this
Maybe
is the
stomach hurt.
This is like, you're grown up now, like all that stuff should be behind you, you should be X, Y, like for example, you should be, the old school way was you should be firmly in a family life, like your kids should be in their teens now and all that kind of stuff. So traditions. Yeah. So like you said earlier, it's a new age, it's a new dawn, and things aren't exactly the way they used to be. So, as I think we can firmly call ourselves millennials. We are navigating those seas of change in some way. So yeah,
it's just scary. Yeah. It's scary that, like, you have a thought of what something's gonna be like, and that's what you've always been taught. This is the path. This is the process. This is how it goes. You did, you this, you that.
Yeah.
And you like, and then I'm 31. I'm like, no, it's not happening that not for me. It happens for some people.
Yeah.
But it's not happening for me.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I feel less than, or like I'm behind, and now I feel like I have to rush, and COVID made that hard too, because it felt like I lost, you lost years.
Oh, I think most people would say you lost about 2 years in COVID.
Yeah.
So
it's like, no, we still aged. you know, it's like, sometimes I like, you know, like I look at my life and I'm like, you're grateful, but it's just like not
True.
where you were hoping you would be or where you thought you would be.
Yeah.
And it's not a complaint or like I'm unhappy. It's just I didn't think this is how it would have been. I thought it would have been a different picture.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
so like reconciling that is tough.
But then would you say that is that really gratitude that you're expressing, or are you expressing an acceptance of resentment?
Oh.
Because the thing is you know, I mean, of course, yes, people should be grateful, but I think also sometimes it's like some people are genuinely, like, some people are unhappy, you know, but because of, you know, whatever, you know, lack of circumstances, whatever, like, they have to accept that and they have to sit with that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've had periods of that. I've had periods of depression. I still have anxiety. Like, I will dive deeper into that later.
That's
episode
for another
4. But I'm just, you know, like, yeah, you go through periods of I'm not always grateful. No,
exactly. I mean, let's be honest.
I'm
Some
not
people
always
are
grateful.
not always grateful.
No, sometimes you're like, what, like, you know, and again, they always say like comparison is the thief of joy, because it is like you can look at anyone's life and be like, whoa, but you have no idea what's going on in that person's life. You guys have no idea what's going on in our lives. Like, there's so many intricacies and things that we struggle with and deal with and help each other with.
Yeah.
That, like, the average person that's in our life has no idea.
True.
Not a clue. Not the foggiest idea.
True.
Whatever we put out there for people to see is what they believe it is. But that doesn't mean that that's real life. That's just curated. Because, you know, we're taught to be appropriate. You can't, when someone says, how are you? You can't say, I'm depressed. Like, yeah. I'm fine, thank you. Yeah.
Please help me.
Yeah. Me and my boyfriend just broke up. My business is struggling. Like, you can't, you know, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
And who taught us to say that? Like, because it's appropriate, right? Yeah.
It's saving face.
It's appropriate. It's hard. And then you get the people who like come and see you and like you know, you didn't have a good day, you're trying your best, put on my makeup, I'm going outside, I'm gonna feel good. You know, but the person like, hey, oh my god, you look so tired and are you okay? No, I've been doing my makeup this morning for 40 minutes so I could look like I feel a certain way, and you can turn around and tell me I'm tired.
Yeah.
I look tired and disheveled. Dishevel you, like, you know.
I've certainly had those days, you know, and it's funny you say that because it's, you know, it's interesting how some people can spend so much time working on themselves and really trying to get themselves into this very positive, abundant headspace, and then you just run into some lovely person throughout your day, and they say the right thing at the right time, and it just knocks you for 6.
No, literally, and I think that it's like, I think some people have no idea like the impact of words. Like sometimes, you know, like we might be in a bad mood. So that means we might give someone a little more attitude, or we might be a little sharper in our responses and whatever. And it's not intentional, you know, because we can't always self-regulate. It's just not possible depending on what you're going through. And like, it's hard. Sometimes people just say things and they don't think about what they say, how it could affect someone. Like, you don't know what someone's going through. The happiest person could be the most depressed person. The most depressed person could be the happiest person. We don't know, right? And sometimes you need to think about what you say. People just say things, especially in bar. Oh my goodness, hair? Girl, you got so big. Girl, you got so small, you're sick. That's like saying, how are you?
Yeah.
Here, like, people think that's not appropriate. You don't tell people about, you have nothing nice to say, don't say it. Don't say it, please, because like that's very commonplace here. Like people saying, "Oh, you got really big," or "Whoa, you're gaining so much weight," or like, how is that something I say in a conversation with someone where I'm just passing by and saying, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did I ask you?
Yeah.
You know. That's normal. For them.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. I guess what I would say is, I mean, I'm not a Bayesian, and so I'm just starting to kind of acclimatize to your way of life, the way your food, your culture, the people, which has been great, by the way.
I know you love it. I know, and we love you too.
But yeah, I think there is. I think I would say that there is a very kind of a straightforwardness that I have noticed. And people aren't shy with their words, so, and they would definitely tell you how it is. And coming from a place like the UK, it's a very different approach to life. And it's got its positives and it's got its negatives, but I would definitely say it's been an experience thus far. It's been a real experience, because there's been times when I'm just like, child, let me not say anything. Let me not say anything, okay? Because the way I'm feeling, the things I'm thinking right now, all right, if I open my mouth, I'm going to end up in jail.
Well, on that note, oh no, we don't want that. We don't want you in jail. You're too tall. You won't fit on those bunks. You ain't gonna fit on those bunks, bro. Your feet gonna be hanging off the side.
my feet will be halfway across.
Your knees will be at the bottom of the bed, like,
Oh,
whoa, is it like a storm outside? Well, you must be really kicking up something.
We are.
Oh, here.
We
Okay.
are. We really are.
Well, okay. How do you feel about this so far? This is,
This is
interesting.
This is interesting. I like this.
Okay.
This is I think the first set of emotions and anxiety is kind of slowly starting to dissipate. So, yeah. But yeah, if you have anything else you want to ask,
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. I mean, we don't know where this will be or where it'll end up. We're just kind of doing it. But yeah, I think if you feel the same way or something resonates with you, or if you disagree too, feel free.
Yeah.
To comment and say how you feel, because we can take it.
Yeah.
We can take it.
Yeah.
We know everyone won't always agree.
Yeah.
And this is just our experience. So thanks for being open, Tiny, for doing this with me on the random.
Thanks for forcing me against my will, but here I am.
Listen, if this is against your will, I don't know what you're gonna do when you're willing. It could only get better from here, guys.
The only way is up.
So thank you. Thanks for holding my plate.
Anytime.
And hopefully we can hold someone else's plate along this way too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair. Okay.
I like that.
Enough.
Oh, we're fist bumping now. Look at that.
Yeah. Welcome. Okay, bye guys.